you or someone you know suffer from emotional neglect and the aftermath of this very terrible feeling? If so, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Not for me. Y'all be easy. Ask your mama, ask your daddy, ask your loved one, but I don't got it.
I didn't realize till after it was zooming in and out, so y'all just please ignore that. Sorry.
I want to talk a little bit more about what exactly is emotional neglect. Emotional neglect, as it says in the name, is when you get neglected emotionally. And I feel like it's really easy to pinpoint emotional abuse or physical, harm. But the thing is about neglect, it's not something that we can always detect because it can they can mean well, but it still doesn't present well to you. And if it affects you, then it is still an issue. It can be hard to identify emotional neglect simply because it's not something that you can really pinpoint unless you're actively noticing it, such as when you come looking for love and affection or just support. You can be turned away, told to grow up, told to stop crying, um, told to just get over it. It's not that big of a deal. And a lot of times we can internalize that. And while it may have stopped the feeling in the moment, it doesn't mean that it's not still there and it isn't still an issue for you. Okay, so I want to lightly touch on. I have to keep checking this because I was apparently on point 5. 6 subtle signs of emotional neglect would be, or at least the ones that I want to touch on today, are a lack of confidence, guilt or shame over needing or wanting general things, especially things that are important to you, disregarding feelings and not being able to set boundaries, overreacting to conflict, and rejection sensitivity. Rejection sensitivity that can, show up in other things and other. There could be other reasons for that, but I'll touch on it still. People pleasing and feeling different or feeling a social withdrawal. So let's get into those. Okay, a lack of confidence. A lot of times we may have I feel like we notice as kids, we're very confident, very go-getting, very I don't feel bad or I don't feel any type of way. But sometimes when we're shut down or when we simply just need to have that confidence reinforced when we feel torn down, it can show up as not being able to relate to others, not being able to feel like your anything that you say is really important, not having faith in your intellectual ability, or not really being able to socialize in the way that you feel other people are able to. And it can be really hard to navigate a lack of confidence because, of course, we have the usual. We don't really feel that good. Like, we don't feel happy within the way we look. And, we want to change that or we don't want to change that. And that is something that weighs heavy on us. And while that is also one of the bigger ways to show a lack of confidence or be able to notice a lack of confidence, it's one of those things that we feel is very normal and very true to the human experience. And, that's right. But look a little deeper, see if maybe there's something behind that. Guilt or shame. I feel like we can feel guilty, we could feel ashamed, and we feel like we did something bad. But sometimes we have to stop and think, like, did we do something bad? Or do we just feel like we are pestering or bothering the people that we feel like we need help and support from? Sometimes when you would come for help or when you came for support, love, and you're told, like, really, like, you are you sure, like, are you kidding me, like, I have so many things to do, like I'm busy, like find someone else to do it. And a lot of times we can feel a need to start doing things for ourselves and feeling like we aren't able to get that support from other people. And that can also show up as a hyper independence. And while hyper independence can be a really wonderful and productive thing, it can also be really harmful, especially when we can't handle everything on our plate. Like our plate's literally overflowing, the cup runneth over, and not in the blessings and abundance type of way. We can end up feeling a lot of stress. We can end up feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and I feel like those are also the bigger forms of emotional neglect and the signs of it that we can write off as simply just mental illness love. Disregarding your feelings and not setting boundaries. Okay, so this is a really big one. I feel like I'm gonna touch back and things are all gonna connect in what I'm saying. So just, if it seems like I'm repeating myself a lot, it's because it's repetitive. It's repetitive, babe. It's repetitive. Why you act like this? Anyways, disregarding your feelings. When you feel sad or when you feel any type of emotion that is usually seen as a negative, we can tend to feel like, oh, like it's not that big of a deal, it's fine, like I just need to get over it, no one else is upset, so why am I upset? Like other people do that, like other people have the same time in the day, why can't I have enough time in the day to fix my and do you see how you just like invalidated like everything that you feel, and that feeling is still there, or that feeling creeps back up and festers and gets bigger and then becomes just this big snowball of why can't I do anything right? That's because you're not meant to feel like your feelings don't matter, and you're not meant to feel like you need to constantly be perfect or be in the right headspace at all times. And with not setting boundaries, when you don't think that what you think or feel is important enough or as important as what another person thinks or feels, you can tend to move the goalposts and move your boundaries in a way that not only negatively impacts you, but completely disregards your needs and wants in a way that makes, or rather completely disregards the way that you need to be treated to feel comfortable and to feel accepted and to feel validated. And that's no bueno, especially when all we want to do is, just be okay. We don't need to be great, we don't need to be perfect, we just want to be okay. And that kind of ties into feeling different. And when a lot of times we feel different, it's because we just assume that we are different, and like, why don't we also feel and able to process and do things that other people do? And why does everyone seem so confident and sure of themselves and feel like they can put their mind to something and really do it? And I struggle with ADHD. I just got recently diagnosed, but it has been like a lifelong thing, and a lot of times I did feel different because I wasn't able to, again, going back to the other part, get that support, get that validation, and get the understanding that I needed from the people around me that I loved. And while that's not entirely their fault, because they simply just didn't know, or they weren't privy to the situations that were going on in my membrane, it's still an issue. It's still an issue that affects me. Oh, hello, son. It's still an issue that affects me, and it can still affect you, even if you think that you're over it and you're Mr. King Worm. Like, look a little deeper, babe. Social withdrawal, like I said, not feeling like what you have to say is as important as what other people have to say, or what you say doesn't add to anything. And it's really hard to navigate a social life when you feel like nothing you have to say matters, and that can come from a lot of different things. So truthfully, I won't list them all off here because this is getting a little long, but really sit back and think, like, is what I say, like, do I think it matters? Do I think that what I say is important? And do I think that I can add to the lives of the people around me, and add to the lives of the people that aren't around me at this moment but will be in the future? Really sit and think about that, because you are completely different from everyone else. And I mean that in a way that, like, humans are all, we all come in our own different shapes and sizes and membranes. And you really gotta think, like, no one else will be able to add the exact same thing that you add, unless, you guys have the same, like, brain wave. You guys are on the same wavelength. And if you guys are on the same wavelength, then doesn't that mean that you've found someone similar to you? You found someone that you can bounce off with and you can talk to and that may understand? Who knows? But check it out. Check it, babe. People pleasing. People pleasing. I am such a recovering people pleaser. I used to, so I'll use my experiences for this example. I would completely throw anything that I had to do that was important, that I was saving up for, to the wayside if someone else needed me. And I feel like I was definitely brought up in the type of family where it's like everyone over you, selflessness is a virtue, which yes it is, but if you have nothing to give, you have nothing to give. Like, your plate is full. You cannot accept other people's drama. You cannot accept other people's trauma. You cannot accept other people's pain. You just cannot accept anymore. You cannot give any more money because you are now taking out of your savings to give to a person, and that person, while they may be in need, if it's like a genuine, like, this is something that they absolutely need and you can, like, you're the only person that can help them, usually that's not the truth. But if it really is like a you or no one else situation, you gotta really evaluate if it's something that you can do. You cannot continuously break yourself down and keep yourself stagnant and keep yourself in need to help other people that may or may not come to help you in need. And while, yes, don't always think about what other people can do for you, but sometimes you really gotta think, is this something that I can genuinely do for other people? I am like, please heed my warning.
Return the slab or suffer the curse.
Please, babe. Anywho, I also wanted to talk about a little bit of emotional unavailability, but I'll leave that for another one. So, I want to talk a little bit the importance of realizing that you may have been emotionally neglected. When you have realized and when you are able to come to yourself and say, hey, you know what? I didn't get my needs met. It opens a door of, okay, well, how are the ways I can nurture my needs? And we'll just make that big, nurture your needs, because that's something that is very, very important. And it's something that you have very obviously been lacking. Not to be rude or anything, but it's something that you've very obviously been lacking. It's something that I've been lacking. And when we learn that we need more support in these ways, we practice asking for it. We practice not feeling guilty asking for it, and we learn that we don't need to constantly feel this like sadness. We don't need to constantly feel this anxiety over simply living the human experience and being a being. I don't know if that made any sense, but I hope it resonates with someone out there. So, in conclusion, I just want to say that if any of this resonates, and maybe it used to resonate, maybe you don't feel like it resonates that much, I think it's still a chance to sit down and maybe journal, maybe just do your little Risatisa video diaries, voice note diaries, and kind of just dissect, kind of just see how deeply you can go with the questions, and see if maybe there's other avenues that the emotional neglect may be affecting you in a way that you didn't really struggle with before. And I also want to say, if any of this resonates, please don't feel shy. Leave your comment down below. Leave any type of story that you have down below. Maybe let me know how you feeling. We can connect. We can find a little community. If we can't find the support in the people that we love in our regular day-to-day lives, we can find some internet friends that'll do just that. But yes, where can you find me? You can find me on Instagram at ObiLoveItArt. That's my art page. You can find me on my main page at Obi. That has more lifestyle, really bad memes, work memes, and rave content, because I love to rave, babe. You can find me on TikTok at ObiLoveItArt as well, same name. Please don't find me on anything else. I'm very shy. My past is squeaky clean, quite boring. You guys should see me in a new light, please. But anywho, I hope you guys are having an amazing day today, and I hope that the rest of your week goes by in exactly the way it needs to for your personal development and your own personal growth. But that is all from me. You guys, stay easy.